So let's start our adventure off with the top main menu bar. We'll review all the buttons and the doodads along the way, and whenever the item we look at becomes its own topic, we'll do just that and move it to its own topic. The first menu item is the File menu. Inside the File menu, we have a lot of the basic buttons that you're going to be used to seeing. We can save files, we can open files, we can create new files. Besides those basic options, you're going to see a couple of different ones. We've got some building options, and then we've got our standard exit option, but we don't want to push this one yet. We're having fun. Let's go ahead and stick with this. Now, at the top of them, we see is like a new scene, and then an open scene, a save scene, and a save scene as. Now, if you recall, the scenes are what we find that the hierarchy represents. So inside the hierarchy is everything inside of our scene file. Below that, we have New Project, Open Project, and Save Project. And if you recall, inside the project folders is where the game is stored. All the assets for the entire game are inside of here. So when we look at something that's saying a new scene, we create a new scene, a new level. And this is how we actually make additional levels to work with. Opening a scene opens scenes stored inside of your project folder. And then save scene as. We can save our scenes as different versions if you need to, or just different names. Below that, New Project, Open Project, and Save Project. We're actually able to create whole new projects. So our first project might be something like let's say, Mario. And then the next project we make might be Zelda or Gears of War. But each project is typically going to be the game that you're working on. And then you can label it as such. Below that are build settings. The build settings and then the build and run settings. These are basically both the same, except one opts out to actually run the game as soon as it gets built. The building settings we're going to look at in a separate video because they are a bit more in depth. But this is where we actually choose the platforms that we want to launch our application to and build our applications to. You can see that our scene is currently named as Sample Scene, which is saved as Sample Scene in the Scene folder in the Project tab. Whenever we open a new project, this is our default scene and it is called Sample. If we make any changes to our scene window, you can see that we have a steric icon next to the name of the sample scene. This means that the changes we have made so far have not been saved. Now we will demonstrate how our saving options work. Now we will go back to the file. As soon as we click on Save, you can see that our Stark icon has disappeared, meaning that the changes we made have been saved in our sample scene. Now, if we make some other changes to the scene window, like deleting our cube, and then we will go back to the file and click on Save As. So this will take us to the project's root directory where the project was initially created. Let's call this project as Scene 2 without cube. As soon as we click Save, you can see that a new scene named Scene, same as without cube, has been created inside the Scene folder in the project panel. Now you can see that we are working on our second scene named as Scene 2 without cube. Now we have two different scenes, each one holds information inside of that scene. So I double-clicked on our sample scene. It loads up everything stored in this scene. Similarly, if I double-clicked on second scene, it loads up the second scene information. Now we go through with some other options of File tab like New Project. If I clicked on it, it opened a Unity hub and allow me to create new project with new name or new location, etc. At that time, we are not going to make new project. So we just close this tab and move forward to other options of File menu. Keep in mind when you are working with Open Project, it don't allow to us create object. Instead, it allow us to open our pre-existing projects that we worked on. And Saved Project allow you to save the project simply. That's all for a file menu. We look for Build Profile and Build Run setting in a separate video.